What's up, guys? Thanks so much for clicking on the video. My name is Leah, and let's recap and review Real Housewives of Potomac. This is season 9, episode 13. Okay? And girl, Mia, you in danger. Girl, you are in danger. But let's get into this review. Sometimes before we get into it, we get a little spicy, just a little bit. And y'all, we got some things to talk about. The reason why I said Mia is in danger is, girl, I just read and looked at the Essence magazine article that was posted about her. I said, Mia, the block is hot. You better lay low. You better lay low because they coming. Because I think Essence is the same publication that posted the colorism article. I said, girl, the people not featuring you, and you might be ruining advertisements down at Bravo. You better get it together so you here for next season, okay? But there's other things I want to talk about too. So first up, let's talk about Karen. First, y'all we ain't gonna never let Karen live down this DUI situation, because why does everyone keep pointing out that the wig that Karen has on this episode and prior is the wig that she had on in the body cam footage? This page called Everything Wives said, I can't deal. Karen's wearing the same wig for her DUI arrest on RHOP tonight. And it is the same wig. And girl, I don't know. Cause it's pushed back too. I guess Karen wear that wig when she know she about to turn up, or when she is drinking. Cause when you drink a lot, you get hot. Cause that wig legit be at the back of that lady head. Okay, it be in the next country over or the next county over. But I thought that was hilarious. The other thing is, congrats to Karen, cause she was featured on the new soap opera that's an all black cast called Beyond the Gates. And the Beyond the Gates podcast posted a picture of Karen. So it says, this looks at Karen Huger of RHOP will be going on Beyond the Gates this year. And I said, girl, not Karen got herself a role. Karen, they're supposed to be filming this reunion on the 9th. Come there humble, take accountability, and keep it pushing. Girl, don't lose them jobs. Don't lose them jobs because of your ego and pride, Karen. Open up your mind. Okay, show humility, remorsefulness. You might not get locked up on the 29th, okay? Be smart, Karen, please. So, next, let's talk about Miss Cynthia Erivo, okay? Miss Elphaba herself. So she was doing a red carpet event and she shouted out the cast of Real Housewives of Potomac. So let me play that clip for you.
I do. I do. I'm an Atlanta and Potomac girlie.
Okay.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. I want Nene back. I need her back. Thank you. I understand why Candace can't be there anymore, but I also would like Candace there. Wendy is a favorite. Love you, Wendy. Niger girlie. Love her. And yeah, and also my friend Bozma is now in Beverly Hills, so she's the superstar. So it's really fun to see the brand branch out in that way. It's awesome.
So I wanted to play that clip because I thought it was cute. And I like the fact that Cynthia Erivo was doubling down on the fact that she wanted Nene to be back on RHOA. But I do like that she shouted out Candace and Wendy and finding out that she's friends with Bozma St. James. I thought that was nice. She's growing on me as an actress and like a celebrity, because the earlier statements that Cynthia Erivo has made in her career, I ain't felt her. But finding out that she's a January Capricorn like myself, I said it makes sense why you behave the way you do, girl. And that made me feel like, okay, I get it. Because as a January Capricorn myself, there's been moments like it's the ego, it's your pride sometimes. But she is super duper talented, and oftentimes I am it's nice to see when we find out that like big name celebrities also watch Housewives. Like we know Nicki Minaj does, Megan the Stallion, Beyonce, definitely Rihanna. So I just thought it was cute. So next, let's talk about Giselle. So Giselle has officially unfollowed Mia. I said, girl, why now? But a lot of people feel like she did it because they're supposed to be filming the reunion. I think this Thursday. So a lot of people are like, "Oh, she's gearing up, ready to like go to war with Mia." I don't know, cause y'all know Giselle flops when it comes to the reunion. To be honest, now I'm expecting her to give us something because the groundwork has been laid for her to really go in and let have in a way that she probably won't suffer a lot of backlash because now that Essence magazine is are out, that article from Essence magazine is out. I know they did one on colorism, and it's just like the girlie's really not feeling Mia. So if you want to go in and let have, now is your time to do so, ma'am. So do what you got to do. But I don't know if she's up for the challenge. And then the last thing, well, no, one more other thing before we get into the last thing. Dorinda Deadly posted a infographic, and I want to know you guys' thoughts. So they basically posted who they think would be their cast for next season, and it was Kiarna, Giselle, Wendy, Stacy, bringing back Robin, and then two new friends of the show. I really didn't like it because I feel as though Kiarna shouldn't be full time. Like she seems like a really nice person, pretty. She's great to look at, but she doesn't have that oomph. And I think she would be better suited as a friend of. So I would do Karen, Giselle, Wendy, Stacy. If Robin comes back, I just want her to be a friend of, or maybe just a guest. We see her maybe 2 or 3 episodes. And then I want Kiarna, if she comes back, to be a friend of, and possibly 3 or 2 new people. But I don't think they're gonna get rid of Mia. I know a lot of people want them to get rid of Mia, but like I've been saying and I've said on Twitter, having a polarizing character like Mia, who people can easily find conflict and not like because of her actions, makes her a very good selling tool for the network. And like one of my mutuals said on Twitter, with this production company and how lazy they are, they'll probably keep Mia around, but probably definitely will get rid of Jacqueline. So the last thing we're going to talk about is Robin. So Giselle and Robin recently talked about Karen's DUI on their Reasonably Shady podcast, and I expected Robin's sentiments that she showed in the clip that I heard, but I wanted to play it for you guys. So let's go.
Was finally vindicated with a video.
Did you say finally vindicated? The vindication happened. Who was vindicated? The streets of Potomac or Karen? Who was vindicated?
Listen, I haven't watched the season, but when I saw that people said that she claimed she was going to be vindicated, I was like,
ma'am,
if this is being vindicated, I don't want to see what being guilty is. Like,
well, you saw guilty. Actually,
right.
There was the mini movie called Where Your Wig At is vindicate, is like guilty, like as charged. You're guilty as charged.
I should probably take a cab.
You probably should have taken a cab, yes.
Thank you.
Or an Uber.
But I'm very rich. When you Google me, you're gonna be so ashamed of yourself. I'm bad as fuck. I don't think I did anything bad except the driver.
You know, we're laughing, but like it's very, very sad. It's just sad, right?
I mean, it's very sad. I hate to say it though. I don't think those that are familiar with that person were shocked by what we saw. I know what I saw. I was like, yeah, that's par for the course. Like, I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked by the nonsense coming out of the mouth. I'm not shocked by the denials and the deflections and, that apparently were happening from the jump. I'm not surprised.
In your right mind, you don't say that you're going to be vindicated and you know that video exists.
But I'm not surprised by any of that. I'm not surprised that you filmed a whole season and she said she was going to be vindicated. And shoot, when the crash initially happened, she's telling whomever, TMZ, oh, I was just sad or something. Like, I'm not surprised by any of the events that happen. Like, and that's the sad part. Um, I am wondering though, I don't know, have there been any Thomas Jefferson sightings lately? Like, have we seen Thomas Jefferson in the last 60 years?
So I don't fault Robin for her energy or her statement. To be honest, she probably does feel vindicated. Like she's been saying for several seasons that one day everyone will see who Karen really is, basically a drunk, and boy did we see it, okay? Did we see it? And so she is just kind of like, it is what it is. And it is. We really don't know what Karen's fate will be. We'll find that out on the 29th of January. We also don't know if Karen's going to show up for the reunion. I hope she does. Maybe it will help her with sentencing, but truly, who knows? But I'm not mad at Robin's comments. I saw some people were irritated because they felt like, girl, you're kicking a dog while it's down. But I feel like Karen would be shady too if this was a situation between, like, if Robin was in her shoes. So I don't think it's that big of a deal. I just think people don't really see it for Robin, so they don't really want to give her this. But Charisse and Robin have been saying for some time now that eventually we will see Karen for who she is, or see her the way that they see her. And pretty much the veil has been lifted, and that's what people see. But let's get into this review, y'all. So let's talk about it. So first up, thank you to all the people that engaged with my 2 sneak peek videos. I didn't know how they were going to do, but I appreciate the likes and the comments because the videos did fairly well for my channel. So thank you. So let's talk about it. So the episode opens up where it left off, where we're in Mia's room. She's freaking out because she can't get in contact with Gordon. Gordon isn't, responding to any of her text messages. Jacqueline's in there with her, and she's telling her mom on the phone that, like, she'll keep her updated, and she was like, you don't freak out, and I'm gonna try not to freak out too. So she gets off the phone with Jacqueline and basically tells Jacqueline, like, if I don't hear anything back, I'm about to get on a plane and go get my kids. And Jacqueline is like, yeah, you need to go get your kids. So we then see this flashback where Mia basically is telling the girls that Gordon thinks that she's on a trip with Ink, not with the ladies. And it was funny because Karen was about to turn her body around to, like, talk to Mia and engage in the conversation. But then I think the moment that she heard Gordon and Ink, she turned her body around and just started staring out the window. And I screamed, okay? Because you can definitely tell that everyone's getting tired of Mia and the Gordon and the Ink of it all. Like, she definitely did this storyline the wrong way. Like, she did this storyline so wrong. So then Jacqueline ends up saying something to the effect of, like, yeah, Gordon came to my house and took the kids. And I said, okay, when was that? When did he go take them kids from your house? See, Mia is irritating me because Mia is starting to make me feel like I got to be a conspiracy theorist and start connecting imaginary dots and finding the red line somewhere in order to understand her storyline. Because I'm like, when did Gordon take them kids? Did he take, and were the kids at Mia's apartment, or were the kids at Jacqueline's home? See, I don't like that. I don't like that. So we get back to Mia and Jacqueline in Mia's room. Mia runs to the bathroom being like, I'm about to freak out. Like, I'm about to freak out. Like, I'm trying. Like, and she has this wad of tissue trying to jam it in her eye ducts to be like, her tear ducts, and be like, all he has to do is just, respond. Why is he not responding? So then Jacqueline's like, it's okay, Mia. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Like, we're going to figure it out. So we then end up seeing Jacqueline call the former nanny's daughter. And here's the thing. When I did my sneak peek video, I thought that Jacqueline was contacting her niece, because when Mia and Jacqueline fell out during season 7 of Real Housewives of Potomac, Jacqueline's older sister would come down, because she had a YouTube channel, would come down to YouTube and spray Mia's tea because she let it be known that she was Gordon and Mia's former nanny. So when I saw them say Mia's former nanny's daughter, and then Mia saying that Gordon took the kids 4 hours away to their old nanny, that is who I thought they were with. So I was like, why is she acting like the kids are not with somebody that they know? You know what I'm saying? But then we, as this scene continue, we find out that this person that the children are with is somebody that Mia had as like her sit-in mother during her wedding because her mom was incarcerated. Now, mind you, she did not have to tell us that her mama got locked up. Like, you could have just said your mama wasn't available or y'all weren't on speaking terms or y'all weren't in a good place. But to just be like, yeah, after you get off the phone with this lady, I said, okay, girl. So Jacqueline ends up calling the former nanny's daughter, and the way that the girl was on the phone made me feel like she even knew that this was some BS, because there was no like sense of urgency in her voice when Jacqueline's like, well, we've been trying to get in contact with so and so, and Gordon's not picking up and your mom's not picking up. Are the kids with you or with your mom? And she was like, yes. And I'm just thinking about myself, like if someone had called me and told me that my mom was babysitting like children, and like the mother or a father didn't know where their kids were and they were freaking out, I would probably be like, oh, let me just three-way so you can talk to her and get confirmation. But the way that this person was on the phone gave very much like, girl, y'all know that you called me the other day when they were dropped off. Like, that's the energy that it gave. So now I'm getting irritated because I'm like, oh, so you playing, like you really playing. You really playing. So then Mia's like, okay, I feel so much better now. Like, I can breathe. Thank you. Thank you. And mind you, she hasn't spoken to her children. All you know is that they're with this person, but you haven't contacted them. You haven't FaceTimed them. You ain't get no email, no text messages, no nothing. All you needed was this girl to say, yes, the kids are with so-and-so. And granted, this person sat in at your wedding and she is the godmother to your oldest son. But it's just kind of like, that's for me, and I don't even got kids. That wouldn't be enough for me. I'd have told that girl, go to your mama's house and FaceTime. Give them kids give the kids your phone so they can FaceTime me. I'm not playing with y'all, or I'm about to call the police. You know? So Jacqueline ends up hugging Mia, and it got really weird because Jacqueline was like, Mia, I'm the one here. I'm here for you, you know? And I know I'm the only one knowing what you're going through, okay? I said, okay, girl. Yeah, it's Jacqueline. I feel like Jacqueline is in love with Mia, and she's too blinded and stupid, because she just be saying things that come off real like, you know, just a little, So we leave that scene. Then we get this really cute scene of Kiarna and Stacy where Stacy is going to visit Kiarna in her room, and she's talking about how she misses her roommate. And you know, Kiarna and Stacy were roomies when they were at Lake Norman. I like their friendship together. It was really cute. It reminds me of Katie and Jen on OC. Mind you, I didn't really like Katie, but I did like her relationship with Jen because it felt like they had created an authentic relationship, and that's what I get with Stacy and Kiarna. So then we see the ladies all pile into the Sprinter, and so Karen ends up saying how last night was a lot for her, and we didn't really get to talk about anything. So then they start talking to Karen gives the floor to Kiarna, being like, so how are you and Greg? And really, I'm gonna be honest, I feel like Kiarna is doing like an overcorrection in her dating life, because maybe she has dated the bad boys, men that are not very like stable, because the way she says that Greg gives her structure, and I'm like, you're 36. What structure do you need? Like, but then Kiarna gives very like fun, free type of girl. So I'm like, why are you trying to be with someone who is so rigid? You also have said previously that he doesn't like y'all values don't align. So she's just talking about like, she's on this whole like my man shtick with him. That is just kind of like, girl, you could do better. You could do better with someone who actually is on the same level with you that would match your funness. Because Greg don't give that. Because we have like flashbacks of where they show her brother, her cute brother, and they're talking about, you know, how she don't really be cooking. And then Giselle's like, so how is he? You know, how is he? And he's like, you know, Kiarna ends up saying on the bus that like he's eating pizza, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We also find out that they got together 1 month after Greg got divorced. Now, at first I was like, that's a red flag. But then I thought about it. If they have the same laws if Maryland has the same laws as Virginia, then he was probably away from his wife for at least a year or two. Because you see Ashley been dating for the past 2 years and she's still legally married to Michael. You know? So I was like, oh, okay. She also explains that they got together, like I said, 1 month after Greg divorced, but also after she closed her salon and now was opening up a new business. So she says, so now they're in a place where they're both seeming kind of settled and they're not bumping heads all the time. She also said that they're coming on up on their 90-day mark of living together. And I think Wendy ends up asking her, so when is the house going to be done with building? And she says within 4 weeks. And I'm just kind of like, I wouldn't be moving in with anybody or like, okay, I'm not against people moving in together. I think I'm against the whole building a house together when I don't think Kiana has like the proper paperwork, because I do have a friend, one of my best friends. She is in a living situation like that, but like she is thorough. Okay. They have legal documentation on if her and her partner don't stay together, what will happen to that home. I doubt that Kiana and Greg have that. And I'm just kind of like, if you're going to do this, I hope you're being smart about it and you're prepared for like what may come if it does in fact come. But we also know that Kiana is still like hurting and really wanting a ring from Greg, where I'm like, I'm not begging nobody to marry me. It's just, it's not going to go down like that. Either you want me or you don't. And if you don't, that's cool. If you do, I got to want you back. You know, they're still on the sprinter, and Giselle ends up bringing up the Love Lagoon, where she basically tells Karen that she spoke to Ray, and she said that Ray told her that Karen gave him a list of things to like reignite the love in their marriage. And a lot of people were mad about that on Twitter. And I think it's all because of what we saw of the body cam footage of the DUI, how Ray was there for Karen, but also Karen's behavior of saying that Ray, you know, has really been stepping up, but he didn't step up back then. And I feel like even though we saw the DUI footage and it definitely contradicts what Karen says, that doesn't mean that Ray hasn't always been there for Karen. Like, I still think she still harbors resentment from that man really not paying her back for them tax issues and her having to give up her own money to help him out. So I'm not going to negate that they probably have had issues well before the whole DUI of it all. But it is like, Karen, lay off that old man's back. He love you. He's showing up for you. So then they were like, so what has he been doing? She was like, well, you know, I used to love when he would open the door for me, and he doesn't do that, but now he's starting to do that more, just little things. And then, you know, he's also been going and meeting the village. Everybody said meeting the village. I said, Karen, he putting his face into place. I said, okay, right. So then what really tickled me is when Giselle was like, but are you doing it to him? And you know how Karen said back in 2020, she retired her mouth, and she was like, you're not slobbing on the knob. You're not doing slobbage of the knob. And Karen in her confessional was like, we too old to be saying that. Don't say that, Giselle. Don't say that. But my whole thing is like, girl, if he's going to meet the village, you need to slob on the knob like corn on the cob. I'm very much of like, you do it to me, I'm going to do it to you. Fair exchange, ma'am. So while that's going on, you see Jacqueline pretty much telling Ashley what happened with Mia earlier in the morning, where she's basically like, we had a situation this morning. And Ashley's like, what you mean? She said, well, Mia couldn't find where her kids were at for like 2 hours. And Ashley's like, for real? For real? And so she said they ended up being at Blank's house. They bleeped it out, the grandmother's house. And I said, okay. And so then Jacqueline says, you know, she was really about to have like a panic attack. All the while, Ashley is like, I don't know how Mia is like calm right now, because if it were me and my kids and I didn't know where they were, I would be freaking out and getting on a plane to go see my children. Like, one thing I will give Ashley, although that light bald headed demon gets on my nerves, she don't play about them 2 kids. She don't play about them 2 kids who be climbing over all of the top of her furniture. So I definitely believe that Ashley would have left the trip to go get her kids. So I do think it's kind of crazy that you see Ashley in her confessional talking about like, yo, if my kids aren't safe, happy, or healthy, I'm going to make sure that they're okay. And she's saying all this in her confessional. All the while you got Mia and Stacy in the back of the bus having a full-blown conversation, Mia laughing and kikiing, and Ashley's just like, this, something about this ain't right. So we see them get to the city that they were going to. It's one of the oldest cities in Panama, where they have a lot of restaurants and shops and things like that. And the girls break off into two groups. Like I said, they broke off into two groups. So you got Mia, Stacy, Kiarna, and Ashley going into these other little like nice little boutique shops. And then you have Karen, Giselle, Wendy, and Jacqueline going to these hat shops. And they really did have really nice hats to buy, hats for Ray and for their families and friends and all of that stuff. And while they're walking to these places, the Panamanian men were loving Wendy and Stacy. Like just one, I think two of them was like, ooh, I said yes. Okay. But Stacy and Wendy are very pretty. I mean, majority of the cast, well, I'll say all of them. I don't think nobody ugly. I think bad fashion sense takes away a little bit of the beauty. But nobody on the cast is ugly. But I do think Stacy and Wendy are very pretty women. So I was like, it's to be expected, okay? So while they're in the hat shop, we end up seeing what's her name? Karen and Giselle end up getting hats for Wendy because they were like, she's been such a great hostess. And they wanted to get one for her that's like this pink little visor, and the other one, a little cute little pink hat for her daughter. And I thought that was very sweet. I thought it was nice that they wanted to give her a gift because she's been such a gracious host. Mind you, they only been there one day, but hey, it's the thought that counts. As a nice gesture. So while the other ladies are in this boutique, Ashley ends up saying, well, Mia, I heard you were going through it. Like you were, and everyone's like, what do you mean? So that's when Mia lets it be known that like, yeah, I couldn't find my kids. So then Kiarna and Stacey are like, what happened? Like, what you mean? And so she said that Gordon took the kids 4 hours away from the nanny that she already had for them, and then he dropped them off and went to Martha's Vineyard. And so then they show us like pictures. It seems like the kids are okay. We see one of Juju jumping into the pool, and then Jeremiah caught his first fish while going fishing. So Ashley is like, you know what? I really want to be there for you, Mia. I really do, because that's a lot. Like, that's horrible, you know? And they do a flashback of her talking about her relationships. But then we got Ashley with a new confessional. And mind you, these two confessionals she's eating, the one with the fur where it's down her shoulders, and this one right here is giving rich young widow. And I kind of live for it. I hate that it took 9 years for you to get it right, Ashley. But you eating these confessionals up right here. You chewing it just a little bit. So Ashley's pretty much being like, I want to be there for Mia, but like everything Mia is telling me, it contradicts. And they give us a montage of Mia saying that her and Gordon are in a good place, that they're working on co-parenting, that her, Gordon, and Ink wake up in the morning and get the children together. And then, they flash to when she says, like, he said that I'm an adulterer and I, did a deleted fetus and all of that stuff. And it's just like, it's too many like contradictions, and the ladies are getting tired. So then Ashley ends up bringing up to Mia that she also didn't like the fact that Mia doubled down on the things that she said about Giselle's daughters. And Mia's like, I don't care. Like, that's like, I'm dealing with a lot right now, Ashley, and I just don't have time for that. So then Ashley ends up telling Mia, well, I don't really know how to show up for you if you can't be remorseful for what you did. So then Mia's like, then don't. And Ashley's like, girl, say less. You ain't got to tell me twice. Now, you on the wrong side of history when I'm over here agreeing with Ashley. Like, Mia, you have gotten so bad to the point where I'm agreeing with Ashley, that light bulb headed demon of a lady. Like, I'm with her. Like, girl, be remorseful, apologize, because you were out of line for saying those things, or even bringing up this whole entire like scenario about Giselle's daughters. On top of that, I agree with Ashley's when she's like, it's hard to be there for somebody when you keep telling me contradicting stories. And then you telling me that, like, don't show up for me? Girl, you ain't had to say nothing but a word. My plate is already full, and I'm not going to add you to it. I'd have backed out very graciously and said, you know what? I'm out. Deuces. Okay. Kiarna goes and follows Ashley outside of the store after she walks out. And Ashley's like, what y'all like? What am I supposed to do with that? And Kiana's like, I know, but that's just Mia. Like, it's at this point, it's becoming redundant for you to constantly try to like reprimand her about her behavior because she's not going to change. So then Stacy is still in the store with Mia, and Mia's like, could you fathom not knowing where Bella is? And Stacy's like, no. And then Stacy's like, why would he do you like that when you know you're such a good mother? I said, see, Stacy is the type of shady that you would have to like, you have to be up, like you would have to watch, because Stacy is good at asking questions, but in the way that she already knows the answer to. Cause she was like, why would he do that when he knows you're a good mother? I said, Stacy, that's because you think she ain't good. So Ashley ends up being like, I'm about to go find the other ladies. So while she walks away, we end up seeing Giselle talking to Jacqueline, Wendy, and Karen about what Mia said. And she's like, Mia is, I can't take Mia no more. Like, she was like, Mia is miserable and Mia go do what Mia does, but I don't have to like participate in it anymore. And then Wendy said, girl, if it was me, I'd have cleared that table. Okay. And this is where I'm like, did Mia make up the whole kidnapping storyline situation to pretty much like absolve herself or lessen the backlash from the ladies about what she said the night before about Giselle's daughters? Because if the whole horror situation allegedly actually did happen, a lot of people are saying that it must have happened that night before, because the way that they chopped and screwed that conversation was kind of off. And I'm like, girl, did you really do that? Because now I'm starting to feel that way. Now I'm connecting the dots, and I feel like Mia purposely made up this story so she would not have to face consequences from the ladies about what she said. And I think that's why when Ashley ended up pressing her and being like, well, I just don't know how to show up for you when you double down about what you said about Giselle's daughters. And then Mia's like, I got a lot going on right now, Ashley. I don't have the time for this. It's like she did that so she could say that. I see you. Okay, I see you. So then Jacqueline tries to speak up for Mia, being like, when Mia gets angry, she lashes out. And sometimes she says things that like she's going to regret and she doesn't mean. So then they see Ashley come in. They're like, girl, are you okay? And she's like, girl, I can't. Okay, I can't. I don't want to be over there no more right now. So we then see all the ladies get to this rum tasting. They're supposed to meet at this rum place. I would like to go there. The octopus looked really good, and I like rum, so I would have been in there taking shots. So everyone's trying to figure out if Karen's gonna drink. Karen basically says like, no, can I get some ginger ale? And then Jacqueline makes a comment where she said, well, Karen, we could take shots because nobody's driving. So then Karen looks at Jacqueline like, bitch. And I said, Jacqueline, I don't know why Jacqueline be messing with Karen when every time you've tried that lady, she has made you cry. Leave her alone. Please. So then Karen says in her confessional that like, I just don't want to drink around these women. I don't need to worry about my sobriety. I said, girl, you need to. Karen talking about like, who needs sobriety? You need sobriety and a 90-day treatment program. Before they start really getting deep and heavy into the rum tasting, we actually see Ashley leave and go speak to her children because it seems like they're with Michael. So then they're taking shots, all having a good time. I guess the owner or maybe one of the staff hands comes and explains to them all the different types of rum that they're tasting. And then they decide to play this game where they all mimic each other. I thought it was cute. I thought it was funny. Like, it reminded me of old Housewives. And it's funny because a lot of people don't really like this season. They feel like it's boring, but for me, I think the season is actually pretty decent. If I had to rate it, I would say it's a solid like 6.5. I think the issue for a lot of people is like after season 5, everybody was so used to like the toxicity of how aggressive fans would be online and underneath YouTubers' comments, and how each season there was something like really like scandalous and downright just like disrespectful happening, that now that that's not really happening right now, everyone says that it's boring. But I think this is just like a typical housewife run. Like, I'm not bored. Like, I was like, I'm decently entertained. So I guess I might be the outlier or in the minority when it comes to this season. But I did think this was funny watching Stacey pop lock like she's Ashley. Kiana mimics Mia when she guzzled that bottle. Them doing Giselle being like, and then Wendy being like, can I say something? And then Karen's like, are you done? Are you done? It was cute. I thought they were having a good time. They even mimicked Kiana with her Baltimore accent. It was really nice. And she was like, I love me some Greg, because that's how they did. There was like, Greg this, Greg that. And so it was really nice. So then Kiana talks about how, Greg and her really have a decent relationship where like one time they went out the country, something real slight and cute. They went to the Bahamas to try to see like, can they go on vacation with each other? Giselle ends up telling us this story about how she went on vacation with this guy to Puerto Rico. They realized they didn't like each other. And, he left, but she got him to pay for the room before he left. I said, okay, cool, great. So then Zell is talking about how, going on a trip with somebody is a way to figure out if you guys really like each other. So then Jacqueline interjects about how, sometimes you really like somebody and then you give them some and then they can't last that long. So then she started talking about how she got that WAP. Karen's face was like, oh, why are you telling us this? But then the way that Ashley was like talking to Jacqueline, like, oh, you got that WAP, it was giving condescending. And then Jacqueline was like, well, Mia knows. And then everybody was like, girl, what? What do you mean she knows? So then Mia makes like a face. So then like she doesn't want Jacqueline to bring that up. So then next thing you know, Ashley brings up how, well, there is like a little story in the group that you and Mia shared ink. So then Wendy's like, what? And you got Stacey like, huh? Shared who? And so they flash back to season 7 where Mia was telling the story about how she shared her boyfriend with Jacqueline. You got, what's her name? You got Candace in the back irritated because she don't want to be in the car with none of them. And Jacqueline's like, no, it wasn't ink. It wasn't ink. And Wendy was like, are you sure? Are you sure it wasn't ink? Because not Wendy, but Mia's not really saying anything. So then she starts speaking up where Mia basically says that it wasn't ink. But then Giselle was like, no, I think you did tell us that it was ink. And then in her confessional, Giselle's like, ink is like a Lunchable. Everybody can take a piece of him like a cracker. And Karen's making faces like, girl, what? So then Mia's like, no, it wasn't Ink. It was one of Ink's friends. And the only thing that happened between Jacqueline and Ink was like, they were in the shower together and maybe a little bit of foreplay happened. I said, this is what Mia talked about on Carlos King, where she said her, Jacqueline, and Ink took a shower together. And she said nothing happened, but she was like, there was a lot of touching. I said, Mia, I guess a lie don't care who tell it. So then Jacqueline was like, well, I'm not defined by the things that have happened to me in my 20s, where I was finding myself, and what better way of finding yourself with your friends. So then Ashley was like, girl, no one said that we're defining you by what you did in your 20s. You up here, take it down a couple of notches. So then you got me in her confessional being like, I just need Jacqueline to just be quiet, just to be quiet. But I'm like, girl, you gleefully tell these stories, and then when you start to get uncomfortable because everyone else is not getting the same vibes that you're getting, all of a sudden Jacqueline need to be quiet. And this is why I feel like Jacqueline is like in love with Mia in some way, because I don't understand how Jacqueline is allowing Mia to play in her face, but also trying to be this lady's guard dog at the same time. It's weird. We end up finding out that they are not going back to the resort. They're changing in the rum place. And I said, girl, what? That's something you do like in your like 20s or even when you're like in high school. But 30 plus, like 35 plus, and like in your 40s, 50s, and 60s, I'm not changing and honestly, that's not even something you do in your 20s. Maybe your early 20s, like 23 and down. But like, I would want to go back to the resort and wash my body. Like, it's 88 degrees out there in Panama. I know the sweat, the perspiration is a lot. When Karen said, girl, here I am about to change in a stall, I screamed. I said, ugh. No me gusta. No me gusta. So we see the girls get on the sprinter. Wendy is talking about, like, I told the ladies to bring an outfit because we changing no matter the occasion. I said, okay, Wendy. So they're on the sprinter. Mia is having a FaceTime conversation with Ink, basically telling Ink when she touched down back in the DMV, she thinking about hopping on another plane to fly to Atlanta to go be with him and lay this Panama P on him. And so Ashley is like, girl, you need to go see your kids. You need to go see your children. So even Stacy is in her confessional being like, yeah, you need to go to your kids. Why are you, Ink can wait. Why are you going to see Ink? So then Mia ends up being like, well, you know, Joshua, her older son, he lives in Atlanta with his father. So she was like, I'm going to go see him. Girl. So then she ends up saying that, you know, my kids are okay. Like, they're taken care of. You know, I know where they're at. It'd be different if I didn't know where they were at, but I know where they're at and they're safe and they're fine. I said, girl, this is why you don't make up these stories like this, because this makes you look like a shitty parent. Like, let's call a thing, Mia. You were at the beginning of this episode freaking out because you couldn't find your children, to now you know where they are, but you did not do a FaceTime call. You didn't, or if you did, you didn't show us a FaceTime call. We didn't hear you speaking to your children. And now you're talking about getting off of a plane, getting back on another plane to go to Atlanta to see your man. You didn't say anything about seeing your oldest son. Girl, you look bad. you look bad. The priorities not prioritizing correctly. They get to the restaurant. Like I said, it's a vibe. I like the ambiance. It's really nice. And they're sitting down at the table. And Stacey decides to ask Kiana about her case because she was like, I read some articles about you. What about your case? And pretty much Kiana lets it be known that the moment that they called the police after Deborah hit Kiana in the face with the glass mug, the criminal charges were pressed against her because that's assault with a deadly weapon. And she says she ended up wanting to press civil charges. So Giselle is like, and then Karen's eyes got big like, ooh, girl. And then even Wendy made a face like, okay. And so Giselle ends up being like, well, why are you pressing, like, why are you suing her? She don't got no money. And Kiana basically says, like, that don't matter. She can ask her husband, her dog, her cat, whoever, but I'm going to continue to sue her. She is like, this is something I have to live with for the rest of my life. It may look like a good scar or like it's healing properly, but all the things that I've had to do to make sure that it does heal, like, she gonna pay me. And here's the thing. I don't care if people think Kiana started it or she didn't start it. I don't think she did. I feel like Deborah came there with the energy of starting something or being hostile and aggressive with Candace. It just backfired and she got into a fight. And she decided to hit that lady in the face with a mug, a glass mug at that, and then get on the internet and like taunt her with that whole thing where she was messing with her hair like this with the ponytail. And then when she did this, like her face, no scratches on her face, and then like, here's your nail when it was a press-on nail. I was like, yeah, girl, you gonna pay me for my pain. And mind you, I'm the type of person, you physically harm me, girl, I'm going to sue you so badly that you are going to need multiple GoFundMes to restructure your life. Like, don't play with me. I will have you living underneath a bridge in a cardboard box, begging people for money on the side of the road. You ever do me harm like that? Deborah should have thought about that before she did what she did. I don't care if you feel like Kiana started it. You could have just hit that lady with your hand, but no, you decided to take a glass mug and pop her in her shit. And these are the consequences. And I'm glad that Ashley was quiet this whole entire time, because I promise you, had she said something to Kiana, I'd have got heated. Because it's like, girl, yeah, be quiet. That's your friend. Your friend is stupid and she made you look bad. And then for Giselle to be like, she ain't got no money. Granted, we know that lady ain't got no money. I think at this point it's the principle for Kiana, but I know for a fact that somebody hit Giselle in the face with a glass mug, whether she started the fight or not, she was sued to the fullest extent of the law. She would want that person prosecuted to the full extent of the law. So Giselle, shut up. Okay? Hush. So while they're sitting there, Wendy ends up noticing how Giselle is ordering Karen's dinner, and she makes the comment about how they have like a 50-year-old couple relationship, and they do. Giselle and Karen love to beef with each other, but they secretly like one another. So then Wendy ends up asking the table, so how was shopping? We really didn't get to talk about that or see each other like that. So then Kiana said it was nice until it wasn't, and then Ashley ends up making it known about, Mia sharing with the ladies that she couldn't find her kids. So then you see Giselle be like, here we go. Even Wendy and Karen make a face like, I knew something happened. So then what's her name? Mia ends up sharing that, she couldn't find the kids, but they ended up locating them, just telling the ladies that they're with somebody that she knows, and they're all good now. They're tucked away in their jammies, and everything's all great and right, So then Wendy speaks up and basically tells Mia, like, I know you're a big girl, but I think it's now time for you to stop allowing your Gordon around his kids. Like, you need to take legal action. And Mia's like, how can I do that when he hasn't done anything? And I say, Mia, this is the problem with you running this narrative that this man is unstable. Because now people are looking at you crazy, and I'm looking at you crazy because I'm like, if he's doing these types of things where you can't get in contact with your children, and we find out that you have full custody, take your down to the courthouse and get parameters in place where he can't play with you and your kids. But you don't want to do that because that's not the real story here. See, that's why you don't play games like that. Because what Wendy is saying is true. She was like, I'm concerned about your kids. Now, you're a big girl, but your kids. So now Mia's like, well, how can I do that? And then Karen ends up telling us a story about her older son, Brian, where his dad wanted to get, custody of him and tried to take her child on a joyride. Karen drove 3 hours to go get her kid and basically pulled up with the police and was like, what you not gonna do is take my child anywhere, and I don't know where they at. And I said, I'm with Karen with that. What you not about to do is take my child anywhere, and I don't know where they at, Mia. You looking bad, and it's your fault because you're bringing us these stories. Mia ends up talking about, wanting her kids to be safe, and she knows her kids are safe and all of that stuff. But then Giselle ends up being like, well, I want my kids to be safe and not be berated the way that you did them. So they flash back to when Mia spoke about the girls at the dinner as well as at Ashley's fundraising event. And so Mia said, well, Giselle, I apologize to you off camera. And Giselle said, well, if you were truly sorry, you would have apologized to me in that moment and on camera. And then Mia's like, well, I don't like the fact that you're critiquing my apology. So then Giselle is like, girl, if you really wanted the apology to mean something, you would have done it in that moment. So then Mia's like, I'm sorry that I'm living my authentic life. And Giselle makes a face like, okay. And you can't really handle that. I'm just sick of everyone chastising me about what's going on in my life. And so she starts trying to muster up tears and start fake crying. So then Ashley ends up trying to advocate for Mia for a moment where she was like Mia is living a lifestyle that is very much challenging our already made beliefs. So it is kind of hard for us to take it in. Then Jacqueline starts to chime in, basically saying that the ladies are adding to Mia's stress of her already stressful life. So then everyone's looking at Jacqueline like, girl, shut up. Shut up. Wendy's like, okay, Mia's always the victim. And then Giselle's like, and who cares? Shut up, Jacqueline. Mia's causing these problems for herself. So I feel like at this dinner, something also got chopped out too, because everybody's coming at her. And when Wendy said Mia's always the victim, I was like, well, just a few minutes ago, Wendy was advocating for Mia. So what changed? What transpired? So then that's when Karen makes a statement where here go Jacqueline making herself look stupid again, speaking for Mia. And they show a montage from season 7 all the way till now of Jacqueline making herself look dumb while she trying to defend Mia. And then you got Mia just looking at Jacqueline like, yeah, you better defend me. And so then Mia ends up saying, well, I don't feel like this is a place of liberation. This is what the trip is all about. And you're just giving a bunch of miserable bitches. And everyone's like, ain't nobody miserable. Ain't nobody miserable. You the one that's miserable. And we are liberated. What are you talking about? And then that's when Wendy said, girl, these 613 girls are something different. So then Stacey is like, 613? What are you talking about? So then Stacey was like, is that an area code? Stacey, shut up. And Wendy's like, no, it's the hair color. So then in the confessional, Stacey ends up being like, Mia is a beautiful woman as a brunette. And Ashley, because that Bob is a fool. That Bob is a fool. So then Mia somewhat apologizes about her behavior. And then Karen ends up saying, like, we haven't gone too far with this relationship where you can't come back. But the ball is in Mia's court for making everything right. All I know is Mia's irritating because you can't constantly tell the women about all the chaotic ghetto stuff going on in your life, and then when you post that your life is perfect and they question you about it, you're angry. Well, stop telling everybody your business, because you be telling people your business even when they don't ask you about it. That's your fault, Mia. Like, take ownership of that. Like, And then to find out that this is the color that Mia wore when she was a stripper, 613, girl, I know you wasn't making that many tips, or you was trying to pretend to be a white lady, because this color is ugly. I hope your wigs was better back then, but probably not, because you ain't had no money. Jesus. Yeah, y'all, that is it. That is all. As always, remember to be bravely authentic. Definitely hop down in the comments below and subscribe if you like what you heard, and give me a thumbs up if you like what you heard. And I'm out, y'all. Deuces.